Welcome back to our channel. Wisdom Muse attraction is a complex mix of body language, verbal cues, and subconscious behaviors. While every individual expresses interest differently, certain signs are commonly recognized as indicators that someone finds you very attractive, especially in the early stages of getting to know each other. So, here are 5 signs a girl thinks you're very attractive. Number 1. She becomes more self-conscious around you. When it comes to deciphering whether a girl finds you very attractive, one of the most telling signs lies in the subtle changes in her behavior, particularly how self-conscious she becomes in your presence. Even the most self-assured individuals can find themselves momentarily unsettled when they're around someone they find deeply appealing. This shift in demeanor is rarely loud or obvious, but it speaks volumes if you know what to look for. She becomes more self-conscious around you when your presence makes her feel suddenly more aware of how she appears and behaves. This heightened awareness is not about insecurity. Rather, it reflects her desire to put her best foot forward. It's an involuntary response, a subconscious effort to match the energy or aura she perceives from you. If she's typically relaxed and carefree, yet suddenly starts paying close attention to her appearance or posture when you're near, it's often because she's caught off guard by how attracted she feels. You may notice that she discreetly checks her reflection, whether in her phone camera or a nearby mirror. This isn't vanity. It's her way of making sure she looks her best, prompted by your presence. She might smooth her hair, adjust her outfit, or reapply lip balm more frequently than usual. These seemingly small gestures are her silent attempts to maintain or enhance her appearance, because your opinion suddenly matters more to her than she expected. Additionally, her posture may shift the moment you enter a room. If she straightens her back, crosses and uncrosses her legs, or suddenly repositions herself to seem more poised, these are all signs of increased self-awareness. Such adjustments aren't done consciously to gain your approval. They're instinctive responses to the magnetic pull she feels. Your attractiveness has, in a sense, disrupted her usual rhythm, causing her to recalibrate in your presence. Furthermore, you might detect a change in the way she speaks. Someone who is usually quick and witty may slow down slightly, choosing her words with greater care. This isn't necessarily nervousness, but rather a reflection of how much she wants to come across well. She may pause more often, avoid interrupting, or speak with an added layer of thoughtfulness. These changes signal that she is focused not just on the conversation, but on how she's being perceived by you. Also worth noting is how these behaviors often happen without her even realizing it. The self-consciousness you observe is typically involuntary. That's what makes it such a powerful indicator. She's not trying to impress you through deliberate performance, but rather responding instinctively to your presence. Her internal emotional state is shining through her external behavior, whether she wants it to or not. In essence, when a girl becomes more self-conscious around you, more attuned to how she looks, moves, or speaks, it's a genuine and subtle sign that she thinks you're very attractive. This kind of self-awareness reveals that you've made an impression not through words or actions, but simply by being yourself. Number 2. She gives you micro-expressions of desire. When it comes to attraction, words aren't always necessary. Sometimes the most powerful signals are sent silently through subtle facial cues known as micro-expressions. These fleeting expressions often reveal feelings a person hasn't yet verbalized or might not even consciously recognize. If you are wondering whether a girl finds you very attractive, paying close attention to these brief, instinctive reactions can offer surprising insight. Micro-expressions of desire are involuntary, appearing for only a fraction of a second before the person often masks them with a more neutral look. They occur because emotions and physical attraction activate areas of the brain faster than the conscious mind can respond. One such expression you might catch is a slight biting of the lip. This movement, often subtle and quickly retracted, can be an unconscious display of interest. It reflects a mix of nervous anticipation and focused attention. Common responses when someone is physically drawn to another person. Additionally, you might notice a momentary open-mouthed smile. This isn't the standard polite grin people give out of courtesy. Instead, it's looser, more spontaneous, and suggests genuine delight at your presence. Because it's instinctive, this kind of smile often flashes quickly before she regains composure and returns to a more controlled facial expression. The open mouth in particular is a primal signal that can hint at both admiration and desire, even if it's only visible for a heartbeat. Another revealing micro-expression is rapid blinking or noticeably dilated pupils during eye contact. These reactions are largely out of a person's control and often occur when emotional arousal increases. If a girl's eyes appear to widen or her blinking rate suddenly changes when you're speaking or looking into her eyes, it's likely that she's reacting on a deeper emotional level. Furthermore, dilated pupils are a physiological response often associated with attraction, signaling that her brain is flooded with positive stimulus when she looks at you. Also worth noting is the importance of timing and spontaneity in these expressions. They typically occur right as you enter her field of vision. When you say something that touches her emotionally, or when there's a moment of silence filled with mutual awareness. These are the moments when her guard may briefly fall, allowing her natural reactions to surface before social filters take over. Recognizing these micro-expressions requires a bit of attentiveness and patience. Because they are so brief, it's easy to miss them if you're not paying close attention to her face and the shifts in her expression. Still, when you do catch them, they're often more honest than any compliment or flirtatious comment. They reflect raw, unfiltered desire, something far more telling than what most people are willing or able to say aloud. In conclusion, if you're trying to figure out whether a girl finds you deeply attractive, start by observing her facial reactions in quiet, unguarded moments. Micro-expressions of desire, such as lip biting, brief open-mouthed smiles, or subtle changes in eye behavior, serve as powerful clues. They reveal what the heart feels before the mind has a chance to cover it up. Number 3. She tries to match your vibe. When someone is deeply attracted to you, their behavior often shifts in subtle, almost imperceptible ways. One of the most telling signs that a girl finds you very attractive is when she starts to match your vibe. This doesn't just mean mimicking your body language or copying how you talk. It's a deeper, more intuitive alignment with your overall energy and presence. It's not about imitation, it's about connection. You might notice that her personal style begins to reflect elements of your aesthetic. If you're into a laid-back, vintage, streetier look and she starts showing up in oversized tees and sneakers that mirror your taste, it may not be a coincidence. While everyone evolves in their fashion sense over time, these changes, especially if they appear shortly after spending time around you, could be her way of expressing alignment with your world. It's her way of saying without words, "I see you and I resonate with what you're about." Also, her language might start to suddenly shift. If you have a distinct way of joking, use certain slang, or have a particular rhythm to how you speak, she might begin adopting those quirks. This doesn't mean she's putting on an act. Rather, it can be an unconscious way of closing the psychological distance between you two. Humor, especially, becomes a shared language, and if she's drawn to you, she'll naturally want to laugh the way you laugh, speak the way you speak, and share inside jokes that only make sense between the two of you. Additionally, you may hear her bring up interests that align with yours, even though she wasn't into before. Say you're really into indie films or underground music scenes, and suddenly she's referencing your favorite director or mentioning a concert from a band you love. This doesn't necessarily mean she's trying to impress you in a calculated way. Oftentimes, when a girl finds you genuinely attractive, she becomes curious about what excites you. Learning about your passions allows her not only to understand you better, but also to find more common ground. It's an organic form of connection building. Furthermore, this behavior shouldn't be seen as manipulative or disingenuous. Matching your vibe is less about changing who she is and more about leaning into the parts of her that already harmonize with you. It's often an intuitive response. People naturally gravitate toward those they admire or feel a strong pull toward. By aligning with your energy, she's essentially saying, "I feel good when we're in sync." It's a way of deepening the chemistry without forcing it. In relationships, or even the early stages of attraction, This kind of mirroring reflects a desire to be closer, to understand, and to belong. If a girl is suddenly adapting to your rhythm, your style, or your interests, it's not just a sign that she likes you. It's a sign that she feels drawn to who you are at your core. And that level of attention, that's often the clearest sign that she thinks you're very attractive. Number 4, she acts bolder than usual around you. Attraction can be a powerful motivator, often pushing people to behave in ways they normally wouldn't. When a girl thinks you're very attractive, her behavior may shift in noticeable ways, especially if she's naturally more reserved. Ironically, some of the shyest girls may act bolder around someone they find especially appealing. This boldness is not random. Rather, it's driven by a deep desire to stand out and capture your attention before someone else does. A girl who is typically quiet and cautious might surprise you by offering unexpected compliments. Complimenting someone can feel risky, especially for someone who is more introverted. So, when she steps outside her comfort zone to say something flattering, perhaps about your appearance, your voice, or even your laugh, it's not just polite conversation. It's an effort to make an impression, to let you know in her own way that she notices you and likes what she sees. Additionally, you might find her initiating contact more often than you'd expect. If she's reaching out first to start conversations or suggesting plans to meet up, it's likely more than just friendliness. These actions reveal a growing interest and a desire to spend more time with you, perhaps even to strengthen a bond before someone else wins your attention. For a girl who usually waits for others to make the first move, this shift is particularly telling. Furthermore, pay attention to how she interacts with you compared to others. If she playfully teases you more, especially in a way that feels personal or flirty, it's often a sign that she's trying to connect on a deeper level. This teasing isn't meant to insult. It's a light-hearted way to create closeness and familiarity. For someone who typically plays it safe in social situations, this behavior signals that she sees you as more than just another person in the room. Also, this boldness isn't about being loud or overly confident. It's about behaving differently than her norm. It's an intentional move to break the mold and make herself memorable to you. The stakes feel higher when someone is truly drawn to you, and that often fuels unexpected courage. In short, when a girl thinks you're very attractive, she may surprise you with a version of herself that's more expressive, more daring, and more direct than usual. This bolder behavior is often her way of setting herself apart from the crowd, hoping you'll notice and respond in kind. Number 5, she mentions or hints at physical scenarios. When you're trying to determine whether a girl finds you very attractive, one of the most revealing indicators is the way she subtly or playfully introduces physical scenarios into the conversation. These scenarios aren't necessarily sexual in nature. Rather, they often come in the form of hypothetical situations that involve physical closeness, touching, or shared experiences. They serve as a casual but intentional way for her to test the waters and gauge your reaction without making an overt move. For instance, she might say something like, "You'd probably be good at giving massages." On the surface, this sounds playful or even complimentary, but beneath that casual tone lies a deeper signal. She's not only visualizing physical contact between the two of you, she's also introducing the idea in a way that feels natural and unforced. This sort of comment gently pushes the boundary between friendly conversation and flirtation, often leaving room for you to engage, tease, or reciprocate. Additionally, if she remarks, "We'd make a good-looking couple," just saying she's doing more than commenting on appearances. She's projecting a visual image of the two of you together and testing how you respond to that image. It's not a declaration, but it's also not a neutral statement. It lives in that gray area of flirtation where she's signaling interest while maintaining plausible deniability. By mentioning this kind of hypothetical scenario, she's suddenly inviting you to imagine it too. Another example that carries similar weight is a comment like, "You're too hot to be single." What's the catch? This isn't just about flattery. It's also a clever way of pointing out your attractiveness while expressing curiosity about your availability. She's acknowledging your desirability, perhaps even wondering aloud why someone like you isn't already taken. It's suggestive, not in an explicit sense, but in the sense that it invites a more personal, emotionally intimate conversation. Furthermore, these types of remarks are often delivered with a light tone, perhaps a smirk, a laugh, or a raised eyebrow. The delivery matters just as much as the words. When a girl is interested, her voice may soften or her body language may become more open and relaxed. She might lean in just a bit closer or make prolonged eye contact when making these comments, subtly reinforcing the flirtatious tone. Also, it's important to understand that these scenarios don't arise randomly. She's choosing to create a context that brings the idea of physical or romantic closeness into the conversation for a reason. Whether she's consciously doing it or not, it often reflects an underlying attraction. She's planting a seed, perhaps to see how it grows based on your reaction. Do you play along, reciprocate, or brush it off? Additionally, the consistency of these types of comments can provide even clearer insight. If she mentions or hints at physical scenarios on more than one occasion, it becomes harder to write it off as coincidence. It signals that these ideas aren't just passing thoughts, but rather a pattern of attraction playing out through suggestive, flirtatious language. Ultimately, when a girl starts weaving physical or romantic hypotheticals into your conversations, she's doing more than making conversation. She's showing interest in a way that feels safe and playful. She's giving you a chance to pick up on her signals, test your response, and possibly meet her halfway in turning subtle attraction into something more tangible. Thanks for watching. Make sure to leave a like and subscribe for future videos.